IEM Cologne is over and Vitality have fallen. Spirit are your IEM champions. Welcome to Queued Up, where the lobby is open, the mics are hot, and nobody's dodging. With me here today, Patrick, Davis, Dylan, myself. I'm the Pathfinder. How are you guys? What's
Beautiful.
going on? How was the tournament?
Beautiful.
I thought it was a great event. Very fun. Vitality finally fallen.
Dude,
Yippee.
I had been waiting for Vitality to finally lose this event, like any match in series, and part of it hurt, and part of it was awesome.
I thought the fashion was really weird. I didn't think that they would get 2-0'd and kind of smack. I guess not smack. The scores were a little bit closer, but still to get 2-0'd like they did was kind of crazy.
I thought when you were going to say fashion, you meant the giant steak logo across their chest, but tomato to potato.
We did mention that, how funny it would be if they lost their first tournament with the gambling sponsorship, so it happened.
100%.
Yeah, it's wild. Let's show the folks the bracket that happened here. A lot of close matches. You know, I think the first one that we can jump right into, honestly, is that Mongols Na'Vi match where, Mongols, I think if they win that game one, they actually find themselves in the grand finals. That's like the one they have to make
Wow,
it.
that's crazy.
That's me personally. Obviously, I was a Mongols fan going into this, but I think that was a crushing defeat in that second overtime that they kind of had to fight for.
They couldn't even beat Na'Vi. I don't know what you said last episode verbatim. You think they are the number 2 team in the world.
I do.
Number 2. They lost to Na'Vi.
Dude, Na'Vi looks good.
I think they're like 9 to 10, just if we're looking at
Na'Vi, dude, it's not like I'm not fully discrediting Na'Vi. So
That is coming at me hard.
You put them at number 2, and they lose to Na'Vi. And not only they lose, they get spanked.
I'll say I was very nervous with that game. We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
I mean, I had them going all the way to the final and winning the thing, but then I think Na'Vi, they were just playing so good, and it was a nervous match, and they ended up on top. Like CJ said, the first match, going to 22-18, it was an absolute grinder. So I think once Mongols lost that, it takes a lot of the wind out of their sails, and it would have been a big ask for them to come back in the series, but it's kind of wild.
It's also like when we were talking about it last week and you were on the fence, it's like the more we talked about it, because I had Na'Vi winning this for all the reasons we talked about last week. And it's during talking about it, I could see you being like, oh, man.
Yeah, I really wish I would have picked opposite.
Meanwhile, we got second place Steve over here.
That's right. That's me. I mean, I am a diehard Mongols fan. I really wanted them to win this series. Sure. I think IM played so good, and the addition of mezii is absolutely phenomenal for this roster. They are not the same roster they were 3 weeks ago.
No, 100%. You can see, they really, this event, they got a lot of just confidence. I think they've made it all the way past Mongols. Mongols is a big team to beat. I mean, regardless of what you think, Mongols has been in the grand finals of a lot of events this year, and they've proven that they can beat some of the best teams. So really good to see Na'Vi kind of building some success going forward.
It's also interesting, too, because you would think that IM would probably be the guy getting replaced, and then also mezii is basically playing his role. But then you replace JL, who is a little bit of a different player, who arguably is your headshot king from last year. So it's interesting to see, but I think of all the new players, that's the only one where it's clear that the team looks better, and it's also clear that player is playing better. Keozoki, but he didn't make it this far, so
that's right.
It's what it is.
I mean, Fallen Falcons, which we don't even have as a segment in the show, but RIP those guys. They didn't even make it to the playoffs. They should have been here in some ways, too. So,
sure.
I don't know. The game 2 was also not close at all. I mean, the Mongols on Ancient did not look good.
No, not at all.
I don't know. This is typical Mongols to me because every time they lose a map, they instantly shut down and just can't play anymore. We saw it in the grand finals versus Vitality. They come out swinging on Mirage, and they look dominant. 9-10 hits that ace with the op, and it's like, this kid, he might be number 1 in the world with the op right now. And then we fast forward 2 matches, and he can't even hit a shot of a dude standing 10 foot in front of him. They have something going on with them where if they lose, their mental is just shot, and they just never seem to be able to recover.
It feels just like the Falcons, because the Falcons are the same way. The moment they get punched in the mouth, they just sit down and tap out.
I mean, and Mizinho?
Yep.
I always mess up his name.
Yeah, Mizzino had bad game.
Yeah, bad series. I mean, kind of like Flames on Vitality in a lot of ways in the grand final, but just kind of shut down. Was not a part of the team in a lot of ways.
They also went down in the first half 1-11. So I mean, at that point, it's just kind of chalked. Yeah, it's absolutely cooked. So the way that they started that second match, it was just over. Like you said, it seems like they just lost confidence from that first game when they lost it and just couldn't recover.
And then even if you're Na'Vi, it's like at that point, it's like, are you going to push the envelope to really force close it? With one, it's like, who cares? Let them get the 5. I don't care.
Yeah, it's kind of over. Next, we had Na'Vi versus Spirit, which was close.
Yep.
They played them good. I mean, both times it was like, I thought this was a really interesting series in the fact that we see Donk do his Donk thing, right?
Yeah.
He definitely slayed out for this team. And we see Na'Vi be able to compete with him.
This was the most Spirit got challenged the whole event.
Yeah.
For sure. And I mean, it was also exciting because I think this is, you get to see new players really being impactful because at times zywoo was doing weird stuff that you didn't expect him to do. Sometimes it helped, sometimes it didn't help. And then on the other side, you have mezii who's doing the same stuff and sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't help. But you can see that everybody else wasn't fully able to play around that. They did, weirdly, a far better job than mouz actually neutralizing Donk at times. Just because they would play off angles, they would play weird stuff. It was very obvious they were intentionally trying to pick him, which you have to do. And it was effective at times.
That Spirit CT side on Nuke is crazy with Donk playing Squeaky. Yeah. He is so good on that spot. It is going to be hard to beat them on Nuke.
100%.
Yeah, I was impressed with Na'Vi. I thought this was the match where they would kind of crumble and, maybe get 2-0'd and just kind of all their steam that they had been building. Kind of what Pat was saying last week. They hadn't really played anybody, I felt like, up until this point, and it's like you're playing Spirit, who looks really good, but, they arrived in the moment, were able to win a map and take it to game 3, but ultimately failed. But I was impressed with Na'Vi in this match.
Game 2 was the Nuke. The game 1 was Mirage. That was close.
Yep.
That was a close one. No more thoughts on the Spirit Na'Vi game, huh?
No, but I think it was good. It was just, it's kind of what we expected. I think Na'Vi overperformed, Spirit maybe underperformed, but this is kind of what I was talking about the whole overall event. Like, you hope Spirit can build momentum enough to they get their new player on board so that zywoo looks good in the finals, and I think that might have panned out.
I mean, I think the stats kind of tell it right here. I mean, if you look, you got plus 16 on Donk and Shiro. It's kind of just like they were just outslayed. I mean, Na'Vi was playing really good as a team, and like they had a really good makeup for what they wanted to do on the map. And like you said, they were able to shut Donk down a good bit when they could. But I mean, still going plus 16, you can't shut it. It's not shut down that much. He's at 1.42 rating. It's
his
just
ADR is over 100. He's guaranteed to kill around.
Yeah.
And kudos to Dylan on this one. It's just like, I did not expect this Na'Vi squad to kind of show up on this one. I mean, ultimately, that was something he called out last week. There, I was like, I don't really know. And
I mean, it's crazy to think that a year ago now, Na'Vi was on pace to win Team of the Year with one roster change. I mean, they play well. And it's like, for whatever reason, it just felt like last year J.O.A.T was clicking heads and he looked like the second or third best player in the world. This year, he did not look like a top 25 player. Yeah. And I mean, a lot of the players didn't. It's not just him. Because I do still think he's probably a top 25 player in the world. But if you have bad moments, you have bad moments. Make a little roster change and everything's, everything can be different with one little piece. It's not like FaZe where you change Brokey out and then back in. It's like, I don't see what we're doing different here. Because you are making IEM play a role, or you're making mezii play a role that they're not used to playing. You're at least changing up the cadence of your team, which also changes how people perceive you. Because it's like, when you were playing the Falcons before, it's like, hey, here's 3 members of the Falcons. I bet Magix is on the other side doing something weird. And he was, because that's what he did. And then it's like you remove that, and immediately it's like, okay, hey, we don't know what to do anymore. We're like, what are they doing? What's happening?
Well, and the other side for Spirit is like, they did replace themselves, get them a new player from Magic that was zywoo, who I think is Mr. Consistent, is the way I described him. Was like, he did not play the same role as Magic because he wasn't lurking as much, but he was in the fights and he was winning kind of the 1v1 battles he needed to really push Spirit into a different conversation and sphere. And I think that's one of the reasons they won this event.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't really know exactly how he impacted the team, but obviously, I mean, they won the event, so it was a very big positive. And it's like you said, he was Mr. Consistent. He never really popped off. He never had those like outstanding star moments, but he also wasn't bad at any time either. So he's just right in the middle, kind of playing his role, doing what he needs to do to make him win.
Which in some ways is the same as Magic's. In some, like I think Magic's was fine at times, but also was terrible at times. So it's
I think he had a higher ceiling, but also a much lower floor. Because like when they won the major, like he was clearly the second best player on the team over Shiro. Like he looked really, really good when they won the major. Yeah. But then there were moments when he looked far and away like the worst player on the team. I don't think you're going to see that out of his way. I don't think he's ever going to outshine Shiro, but I also don't think he's ever going to look like the bottom fragger either.
On the other side of the bracket, Furia versus mouz. We got to see mouz's kind of battle start with this, and they played on Train. It was one overtime. Furia looks really good on Train. I think that's one of their best maps, and ultimately, mouz did take them the distance on this one.
Yep. I mean, I think to me the big piece is I think Quesarado and Maladoy play really, really well. I think they're continue to push that forward. I think the problem is they played in this event the second or third best team. Unfortunately, you played them pretty early. Yeah. I mean, I think they could have defeated the Mongols. I think they maybe could have defeated Na'Vi. That would have been a really close game, but you got mouz. They went to the finals. Like they looked really, really good until they played Spirit.
Yeah, and ultimately for me, this is one of those series that mouz did look really good. Where in the grand finals, they did not look really good. So this is kind of the mouz you want to see kind of battling for these spots. But ultimately, against the Spirit side of things, they didn't have the same kind of series. And it's interesting. Maybe they are scared of Spirit in some way, or maybe they're just Furia has kind of they've gotten Furia's number at this point, not scared of them. I don't know. But it was interesting to kind of watch this matchup compared to the grand finals for mouz.
Yeah, I was impressed for Furia. I thought they could have easily won this event. I mean, they had 3 very, very close, not events, sorry, this series.
Yeah.
But they had 3 really, really close matches against mouz, and I think they played them really well. The last one, the stats were just up there, but I mean, literally the last map of Inferno, Furia was actually better than mouz in like basically every category. Mouz just happened to best them in the here we go, here it is. They had the most op kills, most assists, the most kills from Maladoy, the best rating was Fallen. So, I mean, they were there. They could have won this map easily, but it's just kind of like, it's Inferno. It's who's going to play the team situations better, and mouz was just able to best them a little bit in the end.
Yeah, I also think the thing that really helped mouz low-key in this series is that you got to play one of the best teams in the world on Train, which has been Fallen's map for freaking decade at this point.
Yep.
And then the next day, you get to go play Vitality on this map in a very, very pivotal moment. It's like, that's where it starts to feel like, hey, like, you fought the demon you needed to fight to prep you and give you what you needed to beat the next one.
I was also going to say the first map on Train, Maladoy had like 25 or like 20-something op kills. His op's actually insane. Like, he's actually becoming one of the best oppers.
And that's a map that's so hard to op on.
Yeah.
Like, it's not an easy op map. It's not like it's dust where you're just shooting up mid.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, one of the players I'm looking at on the Furia roster is G.O.A.T.
Yep.
He's so good.
Totally.
He just finds himself in really good spots, really good positions, and wins a lot of fights that he needs to for that team.
He's a really good rifler.
Yeah,
100%.
Agreed. They won the Mirage on this one, which is interesting. That's one of mouz's best maps, I think. And so the fact that they were able to take that off them is an interesting point. That shows, I think, the upside of Furia at times.
Yeah, I mean, I think they look good. And you spend a lot of gas defending that first map, and it's like how much you really have left in the tank. A couple things go differently. Like, it feels like those teams, and it's odd because, like, when it comes to Spirit, you know that you give Donk an AK, any round's winnable. But other teams, you're so dependent on winning a pistol because if you don't win a pistol, then you get anti-eco. Cool, you just lost 4 straight. What do you do now? And it's like, it feels like that. It's like Fury gets a pistol, they win the map. They lose a pistol, they don't win the map.
Yeah. I feel like G.O.A.T. has, well, I don't know if he has the potential to become Donk, but I feel like he's that player on the team that reminds me of Donk. It's like, give him an AK, he can make stuff happen. He can just pop off, click a few heads, and win the round.
I think for me, it's just for mouz. It's just a battle of Torzy, really. So to me, it just reminds me of Spirit with Donk. It's like if you want to beat mouz, if you just shut down Torzy, you pretty much shut down their whole team. They seem to get a little lost, and we saw in this series, Torzy's overall stats were through the roof. Yeah. And like when this man is on with an op, he is just dominating. He is a very good opper, but that really is about it. His rifle skills are just standard, to a pro level. So it's like, the rest of the team, it's like if you just rally behind Torzy and set him up in positions and stuff to be able to good, they'll be able to dominate. I mean, we see it with Vitality as well in their next coming up match.
That was his quote after the series. He was like, when they lost to Spirit, he's like, I played really good yesterday. I didn't play good today.
I didn't play good today. Yeah. Well, it's crazy that the 3 riflers on mouz had a negative KD in that series too, and they're still able to take it out. I mean, it says that Sphinx does have it in him to be able to carry some of the pieces for that team, because I think he's the worst rifler on that team, in my opinion. But he was able to pull it out for that one. So,
yep.
mouz then went on to fight Vitality, and they were able to take him down, which was the story of the year, I think, at this point. Vitality finally lose the series. It is to mouz. And we talked about this in the last episode of like who was actually going to be able to take down Vitality. We thought it might be in the grand finals against maybe a Spirit. But this time it was mouz that took him down, which was surprising for me.
I'm happy to see it too. I mean, mouz has been beaten by them so many times this year. I think this was like the 8th attempt or something that they could have to like beat them, and finally they get over the end. But I think they thought they won the grand finals after they won this match. So I think it kind of hurt them going into the grand finals against Spirit. But really exciting for mouz to actually beat them finally.
Yeah, agreed.
What do you think, Pat? Were you sad when this happened?
I wasn't that sad. I mean, it's just like you can't expect a team to constantly perform forever, and congratulations on mouz. They fought Vitality at their weakest, and they were able to overcome them. Good for them. I mean, Vitality stats were horrendous, from zywoo to Flames to everybody on the team. They were not playing to their best ability. And yes, Robs did good, but like he can't just solo carry the team. That's always been Vitality's strength, is that they all play good.
Yep.
But it seems like nobody showed up that day, and mouz was able to take advantage of it.
There was definitely a turning point too during this. It was the first map on Mirage. Apex turned to them and was like, pissed, like kind of furious. It's maybe the comms break down or just not winning the gunfights they needed to or whatever. But he was like getting into him, and I don't think they played better after that. I think they played worse after that.
I mean, I think when they came back after that, the problem is they should have lost that map 3 or 4 times over. They did miraculously get back in, and that's because they are a really good team. I think any other team in the world, mouz for sure beats them by like, probably 5 or 6 rounds at that point. Yeah. So they did kind of rebound. But I mean, to your point, I think what Apex is saying there leads me to believe that there's going to be a good chance there's going to be a fall off the second half of the year, because what he was saying was not what we should do. It's, if you don't listen to me, we're going to lose this round, with a lot of explicits in there. And it's like, I don't know that, and this is just judging by the character of those people, I don't know that that's something they're going to respond well to.
Sure.
I think Apex is much more of like an alpha bravado leader, and it's like, if you push these kids back, like, they didn't respond. What happened the next map? You got clapped. And it's like, I do not think those comms are good. And it's like, I'm certain Apex is like, yo, step up or die. And everybody's like, yo, I don't want that. Like, can we go back to winning? I want happy times. These aren't happy times. What's happening?
Well, and they haven't found themselves in such a spot where it was kind of dire, because they were playing on a train, and I don't think Vitality looks good on train at all. Like, throughout the whole year, they have kind of squeaked wins out on train. And I think he knew going into the next map that they kind of lost this pick ban, and that mouz could take it off of them.
This is what I wanted to talk about right here. If we look at the stats, because Pat was just talking about a second ago how Vitality's that team where they all usually step up, but that was mouz this game. Every single person on the team arrived in this match, and it's like they had that mission. Like, this is going to be the day where we take down Vitality, and this is our event. And it happened. I mean, everybody on the team positive, everybody with a positive rating besides Sphinx, who was at a .96. But, I mean, just a great performance from everybody, and Xerxin was just popping off around the mouz.
To me, when I look at this, like, the biggest thing that I notice is when you think about the teams like bar for bar, player for player, you could argue that Brolin and you could argue that Apex were pretty similar in this. Other than that, it's like, yeah, Rops probably is better than maybe one of the ARs, but every player on mouz. Torzy destroyed zywoo. Mezii got destroyed by Xerxin. And it's like, you just look, every single matchup you had, it was like they were just like laying into them every time. And it was like, normally when you're Vitality, it's like, oh, hey, Mezii will come in and he'll get 2 quick picks and then we'll keep moving forward. And then it's like, no, Xerxin killed him. All right, zywoo will get an upper. No, Torzy killed him. And it's like, no matter how good your strats are, it's like, if you're just getting bodied, there's nothing you can do.
Xerxin had that donk factor this game. He had a 110 ADR for the whole series. I mean, he was killing somebody every single round. He was just kind of dominant, in my opinion.
And I think what's non-poetic about this is the fact that Vitality lost kind of bad in this series, right? Like, I thought when Vitality lost, it would be like a super close overtime with like a 1v1 that they just weren't able to pull out against the mouz, against the Mongols, against the Spirit. But ultimately, it was like they just kind of fell apart on themselves. Like, they beat themselves this game. Sure. They didn't really lose to mouz in a lot of ways.
100%. I mean, you see Flamesy going 1-18. Like, that's so uncharacteristic. Yeah. It's not like he's the best player on the team by any means, but 1-18 is horrendous. And so it just shows like how much of a dominant performance this was from mouz.
Yep.
Couldn't fight through Germany. I don't know.
Home field advantage.
There you go. Last one was mouz versus Spirit. And as mouz took down the Giant, they did not look like they showed up on Sunday for the grand finals. They looked like they were still at the hotel eating pancakes. I have no idea what happened with this series.
I mean, unfortunately, there's this kid named Donk is what happened with the series. Like, I mean, it is what it is. You can deal with it or you can't deal with it. I think that they knew what to expect going into. Spirit have been dealing with this. mouz has been their demons for the longest time. They just beat him in group play, and it's like, it feels like they cracked the code. As soon as they beat him in group play, as soon as you came into this, it was like they knew what to do, what they were going to do. They executed almost every single time. There were a couple moments where they came down to 1v1s and 2v2s, but like, even the end is like so beautiful. The final kill of the game is the Nuke Kid's way. Like, that's how you end up capturing Cologne. Like, sick.
On Nuke. Yeah, I think that Ancient map, the second one that they played, was the one that mouz needed to win to be able to be in the series. And they did have it won, but then they kind of threw the whole thing, ultimately going up 11, I think, to 3 or 4. Like, it was crazy. They had a really, really good first side and then just threw it away.
It's just like they just crumble in the biggest moments. And I feel really bad for mouz. I think it's some type of just like a mentality thing. We've seen it a lot through the year. They're just never able to really step up in the big moment, like the grand finals. We kind of talked about it a second ago. Obviously, it was great that they beat Vitality, and that was like their biggest demon, I feel like, through the first half of this year. But then you arrive in the grand finals, and it's like mouz is finally going to win like their big event. They're playing Spirit, like they should win this event, and they just can't do it in the biggest of moments. And it really sucks to say, but it's just some type of mental block, I think.
I mean, it's also when you're looking at the stats here, it's like that Ancient map you were just talking about is the team rating, you have Spirit has a worse team rating, but if you look over there at the bottom, Donk has a 1.5. It's literally one dude, and it's like, and no, this isn't like a slight at mouz, but it's like you can't stop one guy. I'm not disagreeing. That one guy's the best player in the world right now, but like, if you can't stop him, you will lose every time.
It's also insane. I just don't understand. Like, don't get me wrong, Donk's obviously an insane player, but there's one clip we're not going to see it anymore. I was hopefully going to show it I was hopefully going to show it today, but we're not anymore. Donk was winning. He has a 5-7, shooting 2 guys across middle, and he gets one. Both the people he's shooting has M4A1s. Like, it's gunfights that shouldn't happen that he's winning, and it's like, I just don't understand. There's also the very last round of the game. He's standing on B site. He kills 3 while standing in a molly. There's 3 guys shooting at him, and no one can hit a shot. It's like, it's almost like he's just aura matrix dodging these bullets. Like, it just makes no sense to me. Nobody can, when they challenge him, it's like there's a mental block. Nobody can hit a shot on him.
Yeah, I do feel like
It's so stupid.
I was like trying to put myself in the mind of the player of like, there was a 1v1 against Jimmy that Donk had won. It was really a 2v1, but he turned into a 1v1. But ultimately, it's like Jimmy was scared. Like, it's very obvious. It's like, yo, I do not want to challenge
I know
this guy.
exactly
I
what you're
will.
talking about.
Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna lose this gunfight, and he had already lost it before he challenged.
Yep.
Like, and
He had planted the bomb right before, too, right? I know exactly what you're talking about. I thought the same thing.
yeah, because it's like, if I'm in that spot, like, yo, I don't want to challenge this dude. Like, what do I do? And it is that, hey, MVP factor, like, Donk will challenge you, and he is going to win a lot of those gunfights. And so I think teams have to play differently against that. They can't continue to be like, oh, let's just try and do the 2v1 against Donk. No, when we find where Donk is and where he's going to play on the map, we need to 4v1 him, kill him, and then win the rest of the round. Right?
And what's worse is if he gets 2 or 3, like, you still lose the round.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's what I think so challenging about. It's the most challenging for a mouz team because, like, you had to slay the demon of vitality, and to do that, you had to play in unison as a team. Everybody had to pop off and do a specific role. You had to win the 1v1 versus mezii. You had to be able to shut down flames. You had to be able to anti-op zywoo. Like, you had all of these steps to get down. And so you think about that as a methodical plan and how well you can prepare for that. And then the next one is like, throw all your bodies at that guy. And that's what you have to do. And it's like, I'm certain in a 24-hour time span, it's really, really hard to prepare for that and also completely change what you're trying to do.
Just a terrible stat line here. You have Brolin leading the team. If Brolin's leading the team, you're probably not going to win the game, I just got to say. And no disrespect to him. He's a great player, but I mean, he just
No,
can't
he's
be
clearly the worst player on that team.
I mean, he cannot be the one that's leading you in the grand final. I'm sorry.
This is just sad to me because it's like this is just the same. It feels like I'm looking at mouz vitality, just now Spirit mouz and mouz is a vitality. It's like they just didn't show up. You got Exortion who was popping off versus vitality, and like sure Spirit has Donk, but like that doesn't account for all the missed opportunities you had where you just couldn't fire your gun. So it's like you just go, and it is like you said, they just use all their energy in that game, and they come into the finals, and the curse hits them, and they can't get a win, and they're just missing all their bullets, and Donk's not missing. And it wasn't just Donk. I mean, you look all below him, everybody on that team had like right at 40 kills. I think Lois was like 39 in the overall series, and Donk had like 62, I think it was on there. So it's like everybody on Spirit was performing, and mouz was just absent.
It's also tough, too, from a map perspective, right? Like, obviously, Donk is Donk, and you're going to have to deal with a crazy AR at times. So normally, you would want to go with more close quarters engagements. But in this, you also have Shiro and Torzi, which are probably pretty similar talented ops. I think Torzi is probably a little bit better, at least currently in his form. But then it's like, when you choose maps like Mirage, Nuke, and Ancient, it's like you're leaving long AR lines constantly. It's really, really hard to get in close quarters engagements. And it's like, if I had to pick Torzi with an op and Donk with an AK, I'm probably taking Donk. And you saw, like, the bottom of the leaderboard was Shiro and Torzi were both at the bottom. And it's because, like, the op was pretty nullified here just because we basically just got nothing but AR battles. And if you get AR battles versus Spirit, you're never going to have a good time.
The thing that was so weird to me, too, is like the first half was when Spirit was on attack, and that's actually when mouz had the most success. I mean, they were up like 11-4, 11-5, and then they flipped to CT. Donk's got an M4, and he's still just slaying everybody. It's like, guys, you only need to win 2 rounds, and you all have AKs. Like, just click their heads. Come on. And I just couldn't believe that they were through that second round on Ancient.
How do you feel about the economy? That's the big piece. Because, like, I do think that's a huge pass. It feels like it's CT-based now, yeah?
Well, now the CTs are winning more rounds for just that little bit of money has made a huge difference on the way the CTs are playing it. The stats, I think it was like, originally it was like 55% of T rounds, and now it's like 55% of CT rounds. So it shifted a little bit at that other direction.
I mean, I think it's overall good for the game because it always just did feel like it was just every map T-sided no matter what, just because of economy. It had nothing to do with the layout of the maps. It was just like T's can just buy all the time, and if you lose once when you buy on CT, you're ecoing for 3 rounds, and you got to hope to get lucky. So I think this change is overall good, at least from the economy aspect. I can't really say anything else about the other things they changed.
I think it's good too because, like you were saying, if you can buy every single round on T side, you also have the gun that just one taps. You have the AK that has if you have head armor, it can just one tap you, and the M4 can't do that. So I think it was just super unbalanced then, and now it's getting back to a state where it's a little more balanced.
I don't like a CT heavy meta because it's really hard to win T rounds when that happens. When they have money to be able to molly you off and have utility and slow you down and stuff, your executes kind of fall apart. So I'm not a fan of the CT meta. I like it when it's T heavy.
You're better at strategy. That's all it takes.
Well, I guess, but there are more plays made when it's kind of weaker on the CT side because they have to make a play.
Yeah, my thing is, and this is a normal Valve component, they do the same thing in Dota, is like you don't nerf anything, you buff everything.
Yeah.
So it felt like, 5-10 years ago, it felt like Ts and ZTs, you had to save constantly. You were constantly broke. You were whether you couldn't buy AKs every round or whatever it was. But then just like with Dota, it's like, what do we do? We'll just buy every round. Both teams, every side, guns all the time. Maybe not an op, but at least an AK.
I do like more gun rounds as opposed to saves, so that's good for that piece. Let's go to clutch or kick. Let's argue over some stuff. What do you guys say?
Let's agree
to disagree.
over some things.
I'm gonna disagree. Pat, not Pat. Dylan, you're first for a clutch or kick, brother.
This is pretty easy. The easiest one in the world here is zywoo. Everybody's saying this has been the easiest lock of an MVP for a year ever, okay? That's what they've been saying. He's 7 events so far, 7 MVPs. No matter how bad Spirit have done at any event this year, Donk has never not been in the top 10 of a post-event recap. Where is your boy? I see a player from Vitality. It's the one that I keep saying is maybe the better one. But I don't see anybody else from Vitality.
I love how this is going to go into my clutch or kick so much. The targeted is just so funny to me. You keep going. I'm sorry.
But to me, you're good. The clutch or kick to me is, at the end of the day, this has to cost zywoo multiple MVPs. Like when you think right now, Donk has 3, zywoo has 7. Like you're battling for the end of the year. If at the end of the year it's 6 to 8, I'm still taking Donk for sure.
Bro has got a hard-on hate for zywoo.
Oh, he likes it.
I'm going to clutch this
It's
because,
crazy.
like you just said, if Donk doesn't play well, they lose the game, no question. He's the most valuable player on their team by far. And zywoo, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's probably the most valuable player on their team, but the gap between him and the other players is not far at all. Like, Rops is just as good as him. They have 2 guys that are like glue mans with mezii and Flames. They have a good IGL. I don't think he really impacts as much as Donk, so I'm going to clutch that. I think Donk has a much bigger impact on his team. And if you start to see them win a lot of events, they won the major last year at the end. If they win more events this year, I think he's no question MVP.
I don't know why you guys have so much hate in your heart, right? Zywoo's allowed to have a bad event. He's had so many bad. Hey, let me finish.
You said some bad words.
What was the leaderboard like in the finals of the major,
totally,
the most important event of the year?
I'm not saying Donk's not a good player. I think Donk is a good player. But guess what? His team doesn't always win because he can't carry them hard enough because they're not good enough. Now, he might be individual stats good enough, but clearly he's not well-rounded enough to get his team on the same page to win a game.
So you're saying the person that has more value to their team is less
That's what I was
valuable?
gonna say.
That doesn't make any sense.
I just don't think that you can tear down zywoo and the fact that you think Donk is good in this.
I'm just saying he's
We're
not
not
as
tearing him
valuable
down.
to his team.
Yeah, he's less
great.
valuable.
He's great.
Yeah, he had a great start of the year.
Go ahead, Pat. What do you think?
This is a kick, and it's not disregarding all the forced Vitality hate that's going on. It's just, for me, Donk, MVP, obvious choice. But Donk, the GOAT, way too early to tell. There's been other players in Counter-Strike history that have started off as being the promised child and have fallen off after a couple years. So you can put your hand down.
To clarify, mine wasn't the GOAT piece.
That's what it says right there. Donk is the GOAT in MVP. So that's a lie.
I'm not saying he's the GOAT.
It's fine.
Yeah, it is. My actual thing is that at the end of the year, if he has less MVPs, I still think Donk should get this year's MVP.
Not false.
That
also just still makes no sense.
Well, but we're not saying that zywoo hasn't had a tremendous start of the year. He's just less
No,
valuable
he's
to his
specifically
team.
saying that, dude.
No, I'm saying at the end of the year, if it's 8
okay.
MVPs to 6, I'm picking Donk.
So the thing.
Well, that's okay, but that's not how numbers work.
The thing that Donk is missing on the MVP side and the GOAT side, in my opinion, he's not likable. I don't like him.
You
as a
like
person.
zywoo? He doesn't have a
I
personality.
like zywoo more than I like Donk.
What's the last cool thing zywoo said?
I just
Yeah,
like,
nothing.
He plays
Exactly.
He plays World of Warcraft. Did
he say
Donk
that or did his
doesn't
agent?
say anything cool.
That's my point. They're both
Both
suck.
of them are the same level of I just play the video game.
Yeah,
But one has tremendously
put
better
this
stats
aura.
and more impact.
But that don't mean Kid has more aura just because he played
No
better
one's saying
video
he has
game.
more impact.
This dude says it all the time.
The only thing I
What
would,
do you mean?
the only thing I would say about
That's
his aura
crazy.
is
Kick,
when
moving on.
when he was talking about
Let him
Jimmy,
finish.
when he was talking about Jimmy in the server, aura is Jimmy didn't want to play him. They were
doesn't wanna swing
scared.
him.
They wouldn't swing him. They won't look at him. Like, sure, he doesn't.
Oh, big aura, guys. Big aura, bro. Little 18-year-old said, Jimmy won't swing me.
But his
Oh,
okay,
goodness gracious,
the thing
man.
we need to final out with though
That's
is
crazy.
Donk's stats and his impact in the game is no question more than zywoo's. You can see impact in stats, and he has
It's not
more
close.
value. Yeah,
It's not close.
He just brings more
Yeah,
value.
because Donk is a better rifler by
Vitality-
like
Vitality-
80%.
Vitality has just won more events, therefore zywoo has more MVPs.
Zywoo,
because they
Davis,
get the
what's your-
MVP.
Zywoo is a better
My
overall
country
player.
kick stink. I'm just gonna kick it. My country kick stink.
That's why I doubled down on the Donk.
Yeah, but Donk is not that good. Someone swing him. I had some clips prepared. They're not here, so it doesn't make much sense now. So I'm just gonna kick it. This isn't a good clip because they're like saving and they don't want to give extra money to Donk, so that's why they're not swinging him. It's not because like they don't want to swing him, but yeah.
I don't know what we're clutching or kicking. What were we
Just
clutching because they won't
Just
swing him?
kick it.
They're too scared to swing
Just
him?
kick it.
No, I mean, if that's the case, I just kick it because of that tweet, not necessarily what he's saying, but that tweet specifically was arguing that, like, look, all 5 of Mouz are scared to swing him. Donk's the GOAT. They're all scared. And it's like, no, they're just playing smart Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Like, they don't need to die and give the CTs more money and Donk more money. It's just, dumb. Dude, the Counter-Strike, Twitter, side rant, absolutely full of dumb idiots. That's all it is right there. A bunch of brainless.
I appreciate the fact that I think Davis is trying to hit on the point that Donk is not immortal.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he can be beaten. It comes back to this idea that, like, find where Donk is at in the map and put everyone on him. Now, he might get 2 or 3, but that's better than him acing your team, your whole team. So
I'm going to agree with Pat on the kicking of this, but my reason is to compound what Pat is saying. I think the problem, again, not to continually glaze Donk, but I think that to beat him, you have to play bad Counter-Strike. Like, you can't be like, hey, mezii, just win the 1v1 and we'll win the round. It's like, that's not going to work. So you may have to intentionally play bad Counter-Strike because of him. But that, I don't disagree. That's bad
I mean, we've
Counter-Strike.
seen that in the past, though. Other teams before have had to counter people like Simple, for example. It's like we've seen teams be able to go around it. It's just right now, yeah, Donk's scary.
you know what's crazy about this argument for Simple and Donk, too, or any MVP?
It's weird Zywoo's on that.
Well, and zywoo. Well, actually, zywoo does fit the role.
Sure.
Simple is an opper.
Yeah.
Simple is the main opper on the team. Donk is just a rifler. And the fact he's an amazing rifler, I'm not saying he kind of fits a role of who would be a Forrest or one of these other riflers that was really, really impactful in the game. Olafmeister. No, he was an opper.
To me, it feels like if you compare this to other sports, it's like whether it's soccer or football, it's like if Zywoo and Simple are the quarterback or they are the striker, Donk is just the midfielder. He's just the running back, right? And it's like, it's unbelievable that we are like, hey, it might not be a quarterback right now, guys. This is crazy. But that running back is wild.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, I'm going to do my clutch or kick. I have a feeling you guys are
Not going to like it.
We're gonna find out. So at one of the events you can go and you show up and you get to vote maps. You get to vote maps that you want to keep, that you want to kick. And so they went to the event, and so the mob was essentially able to put what maps they like. And they want to bring one back. They want to bring back Cache or Cobble, and they want to ban Mirage. I hate this. Cobble does not play well as a competitive map. It is too easy for the CTs to rotate. It is too easy for the Ts, just for the CT sided to be able to win that right side long fight is just terrible on B site. And then ultimately, Mirage is one of the best maps. I think you can't take it out of the system. It's like almost the new Dust 2 at this point for me. So that's clutch. Go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah, it's crazy. The weird, I know Pat was crapping on the online people for Counter-Strike, but maybe the IRL ones are all geniuses because this is exactly what needs to happen. One, you want variance in the game. I don't think Cobble's a bad map. I think a lot of people give it flack. It's exciting to watch. You know what you're up against. It is a hard map to play. If you want it in your rotation, just know if you pick it, the other team's probably going to get the side they want. So, like, do you really want to make that call? It's also Mirage has never been taken out of the rotation. It's been in it for I think 13 years straight since it got introduced. It needs to be updated. It needs to be upfitted. And then Cash, it's just a fun map.
I have a couple of different things. So I want to clutch that Cobble sucks. I want to kick that Mirage is goated. And I want Cash back badly. So that's where I'm at.
That's a kick. That's a kick from Davis. Go ahead.
I mean, I'll just clutch it because I think Cobblestone is a terrible map. It is not exciting. What this man said is all wrong. It's not exciting to watch one team dominate and switch and do it again. Mirage is also goated, but I do agree that it needs to go for a little while because I do think some adjustments do need to be made because they've done it to all the other maps, and we can throw in Cash, not Cobble.
I'm with you with Cash.
I don't know what
I actually
you
like
got
the
with
Cash pick. I
That's
just
what they're
don't like
supposed
the
to be
Cobble.
doing. I
Yeah,
don't know why they're
right,
not
I think
pushing the
you're right.
update. They've had this update waiting. They literally let pros play like 3 months ago.
I mean, Ancient is not a great map to watch or play. I thought I'd like it at first. I actually like Anubis more, and so I wish that stayed. Ancient was gone, but I would take Cash over Ancient for sure.
Oh, I would, yeah, for unequivocally, for sure.
You hate Ancient.
I would take Cobble over Ancient and Anubis. I would actually, Vertigo is the one that I really hate. Vertigo,
Oh,
I'm
that
not.
is terrible.
I'm probably not taking Vertigo over anything.
I hate that map as well. Holy cow.
Vertigo's that good. I mean, it's kind of cobbly in the fact that like, it's so hard to get out of T
it's just
spawn.
awful.
Like, it's not a fun.
The elevation was not the move.
Clutch kick. What you got, buddy? Tell me.
Mine just goes back to basically what we were talking about, is that basically like all the Vitality hate is just absurd. It's so forced. It is fake as all get out. There's my tweet just basically some guy saying the fraudulent win streak is over. You go on, if you ever browse this terrible community that is the CSGO elitist, as they like to refer to themselves, it's nothing but a forced Vitality hate train there. And I don't understand it. It's so bizarre to me that like this team that has been dominant throughout this first half of the season, that they're just getting hate, I guess, because they're just winning, and people just don't like to see them winning, and so they finally lose, and like everybody finally, all them little armchair warriors and people sitting there with the Dorito dust get up and say, "Oh, I told you zywoo sucks," and then that's it. So yeah, it's forced hate. It's not real.
I'll go first.
They're a good team.
I agree with you, Pat. I think that the Vitality hate is interesting in the fact that I don't understand where it comes from. I like them. The more and more I've watched them, I've liked them as a team. I think they're fun to watch. I think they're a great team that is exciting when you play against them. And I have found myself rooting against them for a lot of the year, but I think the opposite side of that conversation is I would have liked to see that continued win streak and then to have a really dominant year. I like Apex. I like the way he plays with the crowd. I think zywoo is one of the best players out there. So I would agree with you.
I'm going to clutch as well. I think that it is a little bit forced. I think that they've had a great start to the year. I think the main reason it's forced is just because like nobody else has been able to arrive really in a position. Like you have a lot of great teams out there who are like teams that you would think would be great based off last year who just really stunk it up through the start of this year. And I think that that's why people were saying that this is such a fluke streak is like the teams that they're playing just aren't really playing good Counter-Strike at all. And that's no discredit. Vitality's just playing much better than them, probably making them play bad Counter-Strike. But I think that, you know, when you look at it, I think this streak, I don't think it's quite as dominant as people could make. If you're a Vitality fan, you're going to think it's super dominant for sure, but I don't think it's quite as dominant as it may look. But I think it is forced to an extent.
Mine's an 80-20. I'm going to go with the 80 on the clutch side. And that's mostly because, like, I think that you need a villain arc, you need a heal, you need somebody to dislike. I do agree. Astralis' run, they don't have any of the stats to back up that they were the most dominant team with the craziest win streak. But no matter what, everyone knows Astralis is the most dominant team in the history of Counter-Strike, and it's not close. Like, period. But I also think that, like, people just want to hate the most dominant thing. Like, all the Donk hate is literally because he's the best player in the world, and it's not close. All the Vitality hate is they're the best team. They have 5 of the best players. All 5 of those players are probably in the top 15 in the world, and they're on the same team. Like, that team should be the best. It's easy to hate them, and we hated the most dominant teams in the world and everything, so it's like you need that for a heal. I think the problem is last year you had Na'Vi, Spirit, and those other guys that were competitive. It's not been competitive. mouz has not shown up when they need to show up. Spirit has not shown up when they need to show up. The Falcons didn't even make the playoffs. Yeah. And it's like the teams that Vitality need to like make them seem mortal do not play like that.
And I think that kind of, it's once again, no discredit to Vitality. It's just like when you're an outsider and you're not necessarily a fan of Vitality, you look at that and you're like, well, they're not really playing teams that are at the same level as them, at that same par. So it's just kind of hard to.
It's interesting that all of America has kind of backed Mongols too at all the events we've been to. Like the Mongol chants are the loudest when they play. The crowd normally takes the Mongol side of it, which is interesting.
I mean, Apex kind of did do that to himself, but I mean,
It's true.
he did have some choice words about us, so it's understandable why a lot of people hype on that. But it's like mainly. We're not going to side tangent on this for too long, but it's funny to me the Zywoo hate. I think he is the #1. If it's not Apex because of his words, people will still respect Apex because he stands on his business or whatever you want to say. But people love to rag on Zywoo, and that's what you'll see probably in the coming days. It's already started, and there's 50 million posts about how Zywoo is just
Do you think that's any
fake.
different than Nico though? Because I would argue Nico's been the greatest thing like Donk that we ever got to see from a rifling perspective. But he choked at every major. He always fell, and everyone blasted him.
So for
He
that
didn't
is
even
a
win.
consistent thing that's been happening for many, many, many years.
Sure.
So it's not really a dog on it to just be like, oh, Nico choked once again. Are we surprised?
Nico is so much more likable than Donk as a person overall.
But we're not talking
Well,
about
I mean,
Nico.
Nico
would say
has
he's
to
more
go
likable than
for
Zywoo.
it.
It's a
Nico
full
is
package, though.
likable because people will rag on Nico, but then turn around and love and laugh at him because he is that. Zywoo, they will turn and hate Zywoo, and then that is it. There is no
But I think it's
hey,
but I think it's because Nico's willing. He was talking about his resolution change, and he's willing to do these interviews and interact with people. Zywoo, the thing that hurts them the most is he is just like Donk, but in my opinion, just not as flashy or crazy stats wise. They both want to play Counter-Strike at home with no camera on. And Donk is flashy enough to go in and click heads and be like, I got to talk about this. And sure, when he plays bad, which we've not got to see yet, and I'm certain Donk will have his bad days, when he does, I'm like, told you, look at this.
No, sure,
Little
they're going to
bowl-cut
come
guy.
out in force. All the Dorito crunchers will be out in force that day to see,
Hey,
look, this
Doritos
your
are
goat,
delicious.
this your
Yeah. Why are you hating on Doritos, bro? I
Hey,
love
dude,
Doritos.
it's just one of those things, dude. The Dorito crunchers, man. Mountain Dew.
And that I do think it is crazy though, and this is a slight flashback to all of this hate shenanigans. It's it hasn't came for Donk yet. They talk about in the Navi match, his worst statistical performance of the year was a 1.21. That's crazy. If he has a 1.0, they're gonna the Berlin Wall has fallen. It's gonna be crazy if he just does a 1.0. That's how crazy it is right now.
And the people will be
1.21.
talking trash about it.
Yeah.
1.21 being his lowest rating, that's absolutely
It's
absurd.
nuts. Most players, that would be career
Great,
high.
yeah, that would be a great match.
Agreed. Let's move on to the next topic. The Blast Bounty event is going on right now. So how this works is there's 32 teams. They're seeded from 1 to 32. The bottom 32 get to select from the top 32 which team they want to play for a bounty amount. The ones that are ranked higher are ranked for more dollars. So if you're the 16th ranked team and you want to try and take down number 1, you're going to make 60 grand. If you want to try and take the 15th ranked team down, you're going to make 15. And ultimately, they're going to get reseeded for the next tournament, and then they're going to move to a LAN. These two first rounds are online before they go to a LAN event. But it's an interesting format because it allows you to be able to pick your opponent. Ultimately, OG kind of lost because of the fact they had to take Vitality first.
They chose that.
They did choose that. I get it, right? So it's interesting who people are picking in some of these. But ultimately, we made some picks. We went around the room, and we found the most interesting picks that we thought and who kind of went back and forth. So let's throw up the picks real quick, and we'll just show them off for everybody. Okay. First match was Bet Boom versus FaZe. Pat, tell us.
Hey, how's it going? I mean, this is more of a copium pick. I mean, every tournament always has some sort of upset or something that goes on, and so I'm basically just placing my bet that it's going to be here. I don't think it's copium for sure. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I could actually see FaZe losing this. I think FaZe is a very wishy-washy team. Yeah, they did all right here at IEM. I guess you won't call it all right.
They did
but,
good till they didn't.
It's they're wishy-washy. So it's if Elige is not playing, all right, that's easy. If Brokey went back on retirement, that's easy. Rain's only a couple years from retirement, and Kerrigan's an old man. I think it's very viable, but it's going to be a long shot.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, this B8 team can be good, right?
Sure.
So it's not. Oh, sorry, Bet Boom, not B8. But Bet Boom, we've seen them. They were in the Austin Major, and they do okay. I mean, I just don't think they can beat FaZe to the fact that FaZe actually does look okay right now with Brokey on them. So
Yeah, I think they look.
it's definitely a reach.
I think they look good enough to beat Bet Boom. I do think it's pretty interesting though, because I love this format. You know, it brings a lot of energy to where it's like if you're like a lower seeded team and you see a weakness in a team and your coach is like putting in the work and you're like, I think we can abuse this little meta or we can abuse this strat that, you know, you could see some upsets like you're saying. So it's an interesting that they picked FaZe. I think, you know, you could see the upset, but I'm definitely gonna pick FaZe.
Let's look at match number 2 then. This one's going to be Complexity versus Heroic, I believe. I might be wrong, so if I
better see some Americas. CJ.
I do. Okay, this one is interesting.
What?
I live in NA, right? I love America. Allegedly. Halzerk is the one X factor for me on this team. I think they can do well, but they have not historically. They played in the groups in Cologne. They got bounced. They didn't look amazing there. I think Heroic is actually on the upward swing right now. That team has looked really good in the last couple events we've seen. So I picked them because it is a little bit of a flyer, but I think they do have a shot to be able to take down these guys.
It's basically a whole new roster. The Heroic team keeps changing like underwear.
They lost their best player,
Yeah.
G2.
I think
It's one of those where it's like, I don't disagree. If this was the Heroic we're watching in March, I think very true. They probably beat them, but it's just a rotational team. That's what's like, you don't know what you're going to get. It's solo queue at this point.
to be honest, my pick is completely hopium for NA. I think if you're actually using your brain, Heroic's probably the smart pick here. Like you said, though, it is a brand new team, so you never know what you're going to get. But I mean, I just think with the way that I'm picking Complexity, but with the way that Complexity has been playing, they have been playing really, really bad. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, and obviously Heroic has gone through their woes with this, and so knowing that going into it, it's one of those things where it's definitely a flyer for me. I just think this is, if I looked at all of the matches, and this is one that I thought could go the other way.
Un-American.
That's right.
NA hopium, though.
Yeah, go ahead, put it in the comments. I hate America. Okay, Pain versus Nip. This one's a 2v2, I believe. You guys want to go first?
I'm living on snow, man. I mean, I think it's one. I think Nip is on a rebuilding era. I saw an interesting tweet too, talking about how they're in a weird purgatory place where they're rated high enough to where they can't get invited to the lower tournaments, but they're rated low enough they can't get invited to the higher tournaments. And I think that's been the story of them, right? Like they're not getting to play good teams. They're kind of in a weird cycly spot. I hope to make a run. I think seeing Nip back at the top would be beautiful, but. Brazilians, man.
That ain't the Nip I know. That color and all that, like this,
yellow.
That's not the Nip I know, okay? The Nip I know would never be that bright, okay? But nah, Pain's just been looking. They were looking good. They fell short here recently, but like if we go back to the major, they had a good run. Yeah, it was the easy bracket. I don't know what to say, but they did beat Furia, who Furia now is looking good. So if we want to count that in, I think Pain, and I'm with him. I think Snow is an incredible player to watch and it's fun. So. Yeah, they got Nip.
I think they had their time at the major, but I mean, since their last 5 matches, they're 1-4. They've lost to Liquid, Astralis, Linvision, and 3D Max, and they've only beaten Big. So I think after the last event, this IEM Cologne, Nip actually looked pretty good and showed improvement. Shoes is actually a really good player. Snappy's been decent, but I think it's Nip. I've been on Nip train for a few episodes, and I really want to see them back. I'm picking them.
I think for me, this was just more of the downward trend of Pain, where they've lost to a bunch of teams they shouldn't have lost to based off of what they're doing. So they're a little bit inconsistent. So, was a thought. Obviously, when you take a lower seed against a higher seed, it's like, I think it's going to go one way. Okay, the last one is Fnatic versus Legacy. Oh, I didn't know. Okay, got it. Davis went the other way with this one, too. Dude, Legacy. Yes, they took down Vitality in the Inferno. Yes, they started that side. And they are on an upward trend.
You're hot.
But
you know who's not hot?
Fnatic.
Which team currently feels like they can conquer the world, or which team feels like they're getting conquered?
Fnatic has had some wins here. This
they
is
have.
definitely a little bit of a stretch.
But when you go from being one of the most historically greatest teams in Counter-Strike to trying to argue whether you can beat Legacy, it's not a good run.
It's a coin flip for sure.
That's why I picked them, because they're traditionally one of the greatest teams in Counter-Strike. I want to see them back. Go with
Yeah.
Not my Fnatic, just like with Nip. Not my Fnatic. These are different teams now. They're not the same. They're the same org, but they are nowhere near the same. Let's go Legacy. You took down Vitality. You ended the streak. Here you go. Take down Fnatic, the old guard.
Dude, if we could in 2026, that's next year. In 2026, if we could get a VP a Fnatic, a Nip back, oh, it'd be beautiful.
It'd be perfect.
But man, are they not there right now? No.
Davis and I believe.
We do believe
I'm
that.
glad. I would love to see him. It'd be great. Now, they got to bring back the retro logos. Pasha Bicep has got to be there. Forrest has got to be there.
We'll be watching the Blast Bounty event in the next couple of weeks here. It'll be exciting to be able to see if any of those higher seeds can take down a lower seed and see if those bounties are collected and somebody can get a paycheck. But this has been queued up where the lobby's open, the mics are hot, nobody's dodging. Thanks for joining us here. Another exciting Counter-Strike episode. And we'll see you on the next one, guys. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.